Admiral's Log, November 25th, 1908. As the bitter cold of late November sets in, the tides of war against Austria-Hungary continue to flow in our favor. Our relentless offensive has left the Austro-Hungarian Navy reeling from severe losses, a testament to the strategic might and martial prowess of the Soviet fleet. The focus of our campaign has now narrowed to a singular pivotal objective: the pursuit and elimination of the last Austro-Hungarian battleship lurking in the depths of the Black Sea. This lone adversary, a remnant of their once formidable naval force, represents the final hurdle in asserting our uncontested dominance over these strategic waters. My attention is unwaveringly fixed on this mission. Every available ship and resource has been mobilized, with reconnaissance and intelligence operations intensified to locate this elusive battleship. The entire fleet is imbued with a sense of anticipation and determination as we prepare for what could be the defining engagement of this maritime conflict. Amidst the ongoing pursuit, there lies another source of eager anticipation: the imminent launch of our Europa-class Dreadnoughts. These state-of-the-art vessels stand as the embodiment of our naval modernization efforts, a symbol of the new era of Soviet naval warfare. The introduction of these dreadnoughts into our arsenal promises to further tip the scales in our favor, not just in the current conflict, but in the shaping of our naval future. The Europa class represents more than just technological advancement. It embodies the culmination of our aspirations, ingenuity, and relentless pursuit of excellence. Their launch will mark a significant milestone in our naval history, bolstering our fleet with unmatched firepower and capabilities. As I record this log, the dual sense of pursuing our final Austro-Hungarian adversary while on the cusp of welcoming the Europa class into our ranks fills me with a profound sense of purpose and pride. These are the moments that define the course of history, where the outcome of a single battle can echo through the annals of time, and the introduction of revolutionary warships can redefine the paradigms of naval warfare. We stand ready at the dawn of a new chapter in our naval legacy, poised to close the curtain on our adversaries in the Black Sea and usher in an era of unprecedented naval supremacy with the Europa-class Dreadnoughts.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 9. For the first time, Russia has a Dreadnought, the Europa. Europa-class battleship, fielding a couple of 11-inch guns, a whole bunch of 8-inch, a couple of torpedo launchers, and some 4-inch guns. Her crew, not yet fully trained in this new ship, because she was only commissioned about a month ago. So, as much as the crew would love to get trained, I did not give them enough time. And here's why. Austria-Hungary is on the move. Do you see torpedo boats? We sure will see a lot of them. And we'll also see a couple of cruisers going with them. This is a substantial portion of the Austro-Hungarian fleet, whatever is left of them, and there isn't that much. So it is entirely possible that this is going to be a fantastic test for Europa. Because those 8 dual-barrel 8-inch guns, 20 8-inch dual barrels, are going to be going up against the cruisers, which is pretty much exactly their target profile. This is what these things were supposed to fight. Now, can they do it? And there she is. Isn't she beautiful? Europa. 11-inch guns, a very, very serious amount of 8-inchers, sporting in all sorts of different directions and with barbettes so that they don't interfere too much with each other. Her targets, lots of Austro-Hungarian cruisers, some of which have already been beat up, but sent out yet again. The Austro-Hungarian ships, some of them have really sizable guns. This is a 9.5-inch gun heavy cruiser. Now, if they want to use all of them, good luck to them, because they're going to have to turn the ship sideways, which exposes them a lot to secondary guns, like my 8-inchers. As I explained in the video where I built this ship is designed to brawl. It's designed to push in. It is not a battleship that stays at range. This guy pushes in. The heavy cruisers push in with it and actually do the killing of capital ships. So Europa class was designed to take on ships from all sorts of different threat levels from afar. Well, not from afar, from up close. And that means her 8-inchers and her 4-inchers, well, with this many threats, they're gonna have their work cut out for them. We have a small destroyer escort here, Krashet and Boyki. These are some of my newer ships, because I believe I got rid of all the Finn ships by this point. These gunboats I'm going to keep in, well, sort of in reserve. So I'm going to tell them to follow the... Actually, let's go with the light cruiser. This is a light cruiser. Yeah, it's a scout class. You guys are going to join the light cruiser. And the light cruiser is going to follow the battleship. Especially when all the torpedo boats come into play, I want to have the ability to lay down overwhelming amounts of fire. And that is going to come out of those light cruiser and destroyer escorts. So for now, let's just keep putting down a whole lot of fire. And the 8-inchers are about to join in. I'm going to ignore the heavy cruisers for now, because from this range, those torpedo boats are vastly more dangerous. Because that's going to hit me very hard, cause flooding, and completely wreck my maneuverability. The torpedo range is only 3. So from this range, I am mostly safe. I am checking various different... Yeah, see, one of them has a 5-kilometer range. Not all of these things are designed equal, which means some of them are going to have different ranges. Look at all the torpedo boats here. This swarm tactic. Big ass swarm tactic. 11-inch guns. Firing in anger for the first time, and so far not really getting anywhere. But even with a green crew, against a torpedo boat, which is a small, very maneuverable target, we're getting about 17% chance to hit. Which I think is really good. Now, let's get the heavies as their own separate entity. I don't want them to screen. I want them to aggressively engage the enemy, especially considering the numbers here. We're gonna have to get rid of these numbers quick. Or we'll find that we're getting overwhelmed. And that was the first kill from Europa. That was a lot of damage. Then again, 11-inch high explosive. What'd you expect? 3.3, we're about to enter torpedo range. Europa herself also packs torpedoes, but I refuse to use those for now. 5.1. She could be in torpedo range, but isn't using them. There. Okay. Now, early game, let's say early campaign, I had some pretty awful ships. I suspect that by now, we're going to be seeing somewhat of a turning of the tide, because I'm starting to get better equipment. Better ships, better fleets. The problem is going to be numbers. They have the numbers, they have the money, and this also means that as the campaign progresses, they'll have the tech. I'm going to have probably largely older ships, fewer of them, and that could mean a lot of difficulty in trying to control all the territory that I need to try and hold. So we're having our work cut out for us right here. Now so far, we've done 21,000 points of damage, but we've only taken 68. 27,000 as we're wrecking another torpedo boat. So far, they might have the numbers, but is that really worth a whole lot? And I would argue, not really. Because so far, they're just not benefiting from the numbers advantage. The AI is, to their credit, trying, by the looks of it, not to attack in one large column, but in several columns at the same time. Which does mean that they have a better opportunity to overwhelm. Thankfully, due to that feature slash bug, where if you target something and hit something behind it, the target, well, if you target something behind what you're actually trying to target, you will always hit something in the front. If you keep using that, then this becomes a far more manageable fight. Alright, time to start using the battleship in the way that she was meant to be used. Target the Cynthia. Sorry, the Corinthia. Close enough. The heavy cruisers are pretending to be a screening force over here and engaging the torpedo boats, the T5, which has a torpedo range almost threatening the torpedo, or sorry, almost threatening the heavy cruisers. Did you get hit by an 11? You got hit by an 8? And you started flooding. Oh, right, it's that Austro-Hungarian merchant cruiser. Like, these things don't have any armor. Which means that those 8-inchers are going to be extraordinarily dangerous to these ships. Because even an 8-inch gun is going to pen that. And we're looking at what, like 5-kilometer range? I can pen 11 inches of armor, which goes way over their main armor belt. That's an accidental kill on a light cruiser. That was 2400 damage with an 8-inch. Look at how close the battleship is to the enemy, like 4 kilometers. And they don't stand a chance. The Austro-Hungarian Navy still has some battleships, especially in the Black Sea, which is where we're currently operating. The challenge that they have is that that battleship was extremely badly damaged in the previous encounter and needs a lot of work before they can send it out again. It does not seem, however, like sending out an already damaged ship is something that they seem to think is a problem, because they've sent out quite a few of these ships. I think it was Mödling that was already really badly damaged, and even one hit took it down. One hit from a 9-inch mounted on a heavy cruiser. Not sure why this group is having some difficulty keeping up. I mean, these are destroyers. They're supposed to be quick, so is the light cruiser. You guys should be a lot closer than you currently are. I'm not really giving a whole lot of orders right now. I'm letting the battle unfold. And letting the AI pick the targets. Heavy cruiser Linz is taking some damage here. She is suffering from tons of flooding. And even with maximum bulkheads, that looks pretty dire. I think she'll be able to stop it. Whether she'll recover from it, that's a whole different question. I have, as I've been playing this war, already received a couple of hails from the Austro-Hungarians begging me to stop this war. Can we please sit down and draft out a peace agreement? And I have told them no. We are not doing that. Because I want to try and take as much money from the Austro-Hungarians as possible. Because their economy is going to recover anyways. Mine isn't in that great of a state. So that means I need to get money from them. That's the plan. I need their cash. I don't need their ships, because their ships, if they're all this quality, no thank you very much. That is not worth it. This Cormoran T-12 is determined to go after the battleship, which you'll not get. There she goes. So, the plan is, just get a massive amount of victory points, and get all the cash from the Austro-Hungarians. Sadly, I don't believe you can claim provinces, at least not the ones that I want. So, we're gonna have to... Wow. Oh, that was from a heavy cruiser. We're going to have to just get their cash. If you don't want their fleet, if you don't want their territory, if you cannot get their territory, just get their cash. And try and thwart the enemy that way. Main guns on the Linz, secondary guns on one of the torpedo boats. And the numbers are going down in a spectacular fashion. Switch to the light cruiser groups here. The heavy cruiser Linz. Yeah, she did recover some. She recovered one compartment. But considering Europa is paying her full attention to her. Yeah, there she goes again. I don't think it's going to last long. We have taken some damage to some of my ships. What if... Yeah, mild. But the way they were dishing it out... I mean, the Austro-Hungarians are going to have to not only rejuvenate their navy, i.e. modernize it, they're going to have to build a whole new one. And in that regard, I'm doing them a favor. Because they won't have to scrap a whole bunch of ships. They'll just, you know, have to get a whole bunch of new ones. Smoke yourselves up. Normal formation. I'm not sure why you're in a follow and avoiding the heavy cruisers. this is pretty much done, isn't it? We're just rubbing... Rubbing? We're not rubbing anything. We're trying to get rid of these ships. We're mopping the floor with these Austro-Hungarians. There's just so little that they can do. I think this goes to show that once you have a good couple of cruisers, the torpedo boat solution is no longer feasible. You just cannot rush ships anymore. Maybe in extremely serious numbers, but the price... I mean, is it worth it? You're paying 1.9 million for one of these. I'm paying a heck of a lot more. I'm paying 180 million for one of these. Maybe if you bring, I don't know, 50, you'll be able to start taking some torpedo launchers and maybe get them close enough to the Europa. But I, right now, very much doubt it. Heavy cruisers have strayed from their course. There goes the CL. Switch the main guns to the Linz. Secondary guns are working over the Hallein. There she goes. I expected a bit more of a fight from the Austro-Hungarians. This almost feels like a complete pushover now. I mean, their heavy cruisers weren't particularly strong, but I expected a bit more. Let's not get overconfident, though. Some of these torpedo boats still are a threat. Target the Comoran T-39. Ooh, you're gone. You launched against the Europa. Quickly discovered with the Izumrud's hydro array, I think it has? No. I guess they just looked at it and went, oh, that ain't good. There she goes. Next is T-13. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up off screen, gentlemen. This battle turned out to be a complete slaughter of the Austro-Hungarian Navy. They have lost 36 ships and had absolutely nothing to show for it. They have no kills. No ships were sunk. They did almost no damage, and I gained 26,000 victory points. If this isn't the perfect maiden voyage of the Europa, I don't know what is. So where does this leave Austria-Hungary? Well, they still have 55 ships. And what we're also starting to see in this era is submarines. That is a serious threat to that new Europa-class battleship. Now, I imagine that Austria-Hungary is going to have some, let's say, other issues, because I'm not the only one fighting them. They're also at war with the French and with the Chinese. Although I doubt that they'll actually have a ship, let alone several, going towards the Chinese. I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It is possible, but not very plausible. So, what's the current status? 78,000 victory points versus 13k means I'll get a lot of cash from them. Are we going to stop there? Maybe. Here's the problem. Austria-Hungary and their army is on the move to eastern Poland. Because my logistics is so bad, it's only 41%. Theirs is 100%. My army isn't that effective. I am getting assistance from the French, which is very kind of them. But look at the losses. The losses are dire. I have lost 3.5 times as many men as the Austro-Hungarians. So maybe it is time to call it quits here. But I want to see if I can sink this other task force. A battleship, a heavy, a light, and 7 torpedo boats. We might be able to try and launch an invasion here, but I don't think it is feasible yet, because we don't have the tonnage. Also, the whole naval invasion button has been nothing but grayed out for me, so I'm not sure if it's even possible. Let's see if this task force wants to come out and play. Now, I was expecting to take on an Austro-Hungarian task force, not an Italian one. I'm not sure why the Italians are threatening us with war, because I'm not in their waters. Not yet. But I will be. Because I am definitely not forking over $100 million to a bunch of Italians. Nope, we are, well, going to have to go to war. Do I want to peace with Spanish? No, I do not. I don't want the peace with the Spanish because it's going to cost me money. I do want one with the Austro-Hungarians because this task force is not coming out to play. And if I now have to take on the Italians, I might find myself vastly outnumbered. So let's not. That would not be a good idea because the Austro-Hungarians, they've been badly beaten. They still have 60 ships. The Italians, they have 119. Mostly numerically superior because of light cruisers and torpedo boats. So once again, Europa's going to have her hands full. The other ship of her class, where is she? Where are the battleships? Here. The Sea of Japan. And I'm building another one, the Apostol Piotr. So I can try and getting the one from Sea of Japan over here, but it's a heck of a trek. And my relationship with the Japanese isn't spectacular, shall we say. We need one spark, and this conflict is going to reignite. Now, they only have 2 battleships. I believe that my battleships, in tandem with my cruisers, are better. So this task force over here can be effective. Because we got not only the Sviatoi, but also the Chesma, which is a battle-hardened crew. We have a heavy cruiser, Europa, which is one of the oldest ships I have. And it's proven herself time and time again. So I am not concerned that much about a conflict in the Sea of Japan if it wasn't for my economy. That is a concern. I hope that I don't have to fight that conflict just yet, though. Much to my chagrin, and as much as I recommended against signing a peace treaty with the Spanish, we have. So, while the peace treaty with the Austro-Hungarians has failed, we did get a peace treaty with the Spanish, which is going to give me absolutely nothing. Their battleships are a little outside of my reach. I'm getting less than 1 million. Cool. Oh well. Oh, and here comes Japan. Fine. If Japan wants to fight, we will fight. And look who it is. It's the Erzherzog Franz Ferdinand. 16 9.5-inch guns. This is the time when the Europa is going to soak up the damage, and the other guys deal the damage against the battleship. That's the plan. Will that work when there's a couple of torpedo boats in the way? We're about to find out. The fight is on. We're about 10 kilometers removed. The secondaries, which means the 1.6s from Europa, are pounding the battleship. And the enemy battleship is surprisingly not returning fire yet. I'm not sure why, because I have been spotted. The guns... oh, there we go. The guns are now starting to point in my general direction. And it looks like they're not turning the battleship, because that's not what the guns are pointed at. Maybe they're trying to take down a cruiser. Which, arguably, is not a bad idea. Because that is a substantial threat. The Europa with her secondaries can definitely deal a whole lot of damage to this ship. But the torpedoes from the heavy cruisers, that is where the threat really is. So perhaps the enemy battleship understands that and goes, well, you're gonna have to go first, friend. I should be able to take down this torpedo boat as I target the battleship. And let's see what Europa can do. 8.5 clicks. Her crew is now trained. The amount of experience that she got from that last battle is probably very significant. And is starting to pay off. Because her accuracy is now 16%, and we're targeting something really big. But even against the torpedo boat, we're looking at about 7%, which is not bad. Weather conditions are pretty favorable. It's day, which is somehow giving me a debuff. Can't quite explain that, but here we are. The enemy battleship does have low fuel. I think they weren't refueling for some reason. And, well, I actually quite like it, because that makes my life a lot easier. The reason for that is that the Erzherzog now is not very quick. She's doing 12 knots, which means that my cruisers have all the time and all the opportunity to catch up and eliminate this ship, if possible. But first, that screening force has to go. First, this screening force of cruisers, and mostly torpedo boats, has to get eliminated. It looks like they're not too keen on that. You guys, screen for the battleship. There. What's your chance to pen my ship? Not terrible. Okay. I want to try and get as much firepower concentrated on all the various escort ships as possible, so I'm keeping the Europa broadside. Even though that could mean serious damage from the 9-inchers, but most of the 9-inchers are not looking at me. They're looking at heavy cruiser Pallada, which is over here. Interesting choice. Let's smoke up. Providing a smoke screen for my own ships, especially the heavy cruisers. Europa doesn't need one. And see if we can do something about these escorts. That's an opportunity right there. Ooh, that's good damage. And there are more low-field ships out here. Including torpedo boats, that's curious. That's gonna leave a mark. Now all the guns are starting to take aim at the Europa. Range, about 4.5 to 5 clicks. We're inside of their torpedo range now. I'm gonna start paying some good attention to these things. Getting a little dangerous. Chance to pen against the Erzherzog is pretty bad. Put the secondaries on this. Put the escorting light group on the light cruiser. And we're going to push you guys over there. I'm going to push the escort group in against the battleship. Because this battleship seems to be tunnel visioned against my battleship. Which is exactly what Europa was built for. Let them fight the battleship. Because I don't care if you shoot it with a 6.3 or a 3.3. You simply won't do a whole lot of damage against it. And Izumrud is now rushing in at almost 25 knots. Her escorts jumping ahead. And the Erzherzog is now going to have a problem and a half. Unfortunately, I only have launchers port and starboard, so my plan is to kind of rush it and turn. For more T-54, sent a salvo. You. Against the CL, against Izumrud. Oh. Alright, fine. We're gonna have to turn in then, into the group. Not the best place to be, but it's less likely to catch torpedoes there. Izumrud's port side, preparing to fire everything they have against the Erzherzog, which is now still distracted. Oh boy. There's the torps. They almost torpedoed their own battleship. Boyki and Kreshet should be fine. I do really want you to launch your torpedoes now. Why are you not even pointing them? Like, yeah, sure, they were set to safe, but not that safe. Whole division. This is your target. Come on, you got the perfect shot. Take it. Bring the heavies in. That was a dud. Izumrud's taking a pretty hefty beating over here. Boyki? That was the dud from the Boyki that we just saw. Unfortunately, they only have one launcher. T-54 already launched. 51's thinking about it. 49's thinking about it. We got the heavy cruiser Leoben. Don't consider that much of a risk. Chance to pen. Getting better. There we go. That's a torpedo hit. How expensive are you? 91 million. I was about 180. So yeah, you're half price. Get one, buy one free. No. Buy one, get one free. Close enough. The smaller escorts are going to have to try and deal with the T-54. as well as the others, but I'm starting to take more damage on the Izumrud than I want. I think I might lose this ship. The Erzherzog is now completely dead in the water. 3 knots. I could push in. Wait, I have already launched a torpedo with the Europa. Brawling, brawling, brawling. We're even destroying some main guns now. It's gonna make the ship a lot less dangerous. Problem is, the threat could be coming in from the other direction. Increase speed a bit. I don't think that battleship will be able to get out of the way of the torpedo. Switch the starboard side secondaries over to that torpedo boat. Make that your target. Incoming torpedoes detected. I don't think it's going to be that much of a deal. Izumrud is looking pretty sickly. That was good damage there. 54 is not a threat. They've already launched. They're basically a gunboat. So that is excellent. Europa pushes in now. There's flooding on the 54. Not sure if that torpedo connected. Yeah, it did. 800 damage. You can see that the Europa doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Like, her alpha strike isn't that significant. But when it comes to damage over time, and especially damage to smaller ships, that's kind of where she excels. Is those 11-inchers? Yeah, they got the pen, they got the damage. But not convincingly so. Ah, Izumrud sent out her salvo, finally. Took her a little while longer than I'd hoped, but here we are. And that's 4 torps? 4. Potentially with 1 dud. Europa taking a bit of flooding, getting pushed into a torpedo by the Isaac. Fortunately, Europa was built for it. There she goes. Ow. Oh, the thing was built to last, so let's make it last. That's gonna award me a few months in dry dock, at least. Although flooding generally isn't that bad. I should have managed this fight better. You are not armed. You're not armed. Leoben is slow. Bring the heavies in. There goes the 49. Let's take out the 51. 54 is flooding already. Yeah, we're just gonna mop them up. And with a bit of mopping up and the sinking of 1 battleship, that's another 20,000 victory points. The Austro-Hungarians are gonna have to pay through the nose in order to give me enough reparations for this war. Ideally, I would take Ukraine back, but unfortunately, that is not exactly going to work. Right. Let's see what's gonna happen next. What is the Japanese move? Because that has me a little concerned. The Japanese do have a lot of fleet power. And like I mentioned just a moment ago, they also have the power to take out potential transports. That is going to hurt. Interestingly, their fleet's not here. The Sea of Japan is deserted. Does this mean I can take my fleet and go hunting their transports? Because that would be fantastic. So let's say I want to have these... I can sea control them, I can invade. So this means that I'm more likely to find enemy transports. But at the expense of reducing transport defense. So my own defense is going to be worse. Protect is the reverse. Sea control is kind of balanced. So let's go to the Sea of Japan and see what we can find there. No, I think there's plenty of fighting and plenty of test driving the Europa for the first time. Let me know what your thoughts are on the performance of that ship. I think she did fantastically well. I think we're going to see a lot more of her. She is going to take a little bit of repairs, so for now I'll have to send her back. But soon, she is going to be the focal point of the task force that might take a little trip to Italy. So, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more.